Ella es una mujer tan sensual.
Yeah, I just fucked up.
Como letal. Escape a la libertad. Próximo domingo.
And who the hell are you? I'm married.
En Max Prime. En Max Prime estamos listos para nuevas experiencias, más emociones y grandes aventuras. ¿Estás listo para más? Max Prime, adrenalina más allá del género.
Stop right there. I'm in.
Los tiburones están de regreso. Más astutos.
¿Cómo?
Sharks can't do that.
Más letales.
Never seen him act this way.
Y más pequeños.
These are your typical sharks. Just teeth and muscle and killer instinct.
Alerta en lo profundo 2. Próximo viernes. En Max Prime.
Our enemy doesn't tire. Doesn't stop. They're coming.
Everything you did brought you where you are now. Where you belong. Home.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise. What do you want from me? Loyalty.
Bruce Lee thought it was time in America to have a television show about Kung Fu. So he had this notion of a show set in America where a Chinese man comes to America in search of his sister and ends up that fish out of water story about a Kung Fu prodigy.
It was obviously a martial arts vehicle for him to star in, and ultimately The Warrior is what it was going to be called.
Warriors have only two paths. Get killed or get better.
He was looking at a time frame for this show that took place in the late 19th century in San Francisco's Chinatown community. He was very directed and very focused about his intention to show an authentic representation of a Chinese person.
The character of Assam was a character who came from China and came over to America, searching for someone.
I think it was important to be able to tell a story of a character that's going through that journey.
In this world, Assam is like the draft version of Bruce Lee.
We took Assam and we wanted to make him really human with flaws, and he's very reckless, he's impulsive, he doesn't always think things through, and he's very much the antithesis of what Bruce Lee would have been. The goal was not to make Assam a clone of Bruce Lee. So what we do instead is we find ways of inserting some of the Bruce Lee philosophy into all of our characters.
It really celebrates kind of what Bruce Lee is all about. It's about going out there and having an idea and creating an opportunity for people to come in and seize it.
Okay. Let's go.
es una mujer tan sensual
Yeah. I just fucked up.
como letal. Escape a la libertad. Próximo domingo.
And who the hell are you? I'm married.
En Max Prime. Programación no recomendada para niños menores de 12 años.
Suspension's lifted. Looking for a stolen nuclear missile. Incoming! No!
It's counting down.
It's gonna be loud.
En Max Prime estamos listos para nuevas experiencias, más emociones y grandes aventuras. ¿Estás listo para más? Max Prime, adrenalina más allá del género.
Stop right there. I'm in.
Los tiburones están de regreso. Más astutos,
Tunnel?
Sharks can't do that.
más letales
Never seen him act this way.
y más pequeños.
These are your typical sharks. Just teeth and muscle and killer instinct.
Alerta en lo profundo 2. Próximo viernes en Max Prime.
Our enemy doesn't tire. Doesn't stop. They're coming.
Everything you did brought you where you are now. Where you belong. Home.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
casting the show, we looked all over the world, and we found Jason in Hong Kong, we found Joe in Indonesia, we found Diane in LA, we found Olivia in Canada, and we have Hoon Lee.
How are you finding America so far?
My goal with this show was to have an interweaving story for 11 or 12 characters, but it felt really important to me to include both the police force and the mayor and the executive branch.
You do what you have to survive.
Casting the main character of Sam, I knew it was going to be a challenge.
Do you really want to find out?
It was a tall order. You're looking for an actor who is compelling and can handle all the drama and vulnerability, but is also really funny, who can also fight.
I never thought I'd be able to play Sam because I'd never seen a lead Asian guy on a show before.
There was just something so introspective, but also like sort of quietly fierce about Andrew.
You had that the whole time?
To me, it kind of embodies what Bruce Lee's all about.
Bruce Lee, I'm eternally grateful to that man because I'm somehow here right now because of him.
You should look upon oneself as an actor, man. I mean, you would be very pleased if somebody say, hey, man, you are a super actor. It is much better than, superstar.
Cuando llega el sábado, el cuerpo lo sabe. Hazle caso y siéntate a ver Max Prime. Sábados en Max Prime. Ella es una mujer tan sensual.
Yeah. I just fucked her.
Como letal. Escape a la libertad. Próximo domingo.
And who the hell are you? I'm married.
En Max Prime. Programación no recomendada para niños menores de 12 años. En Max Prime estamos listos para nuevas experiencias, más emociones y grandes aventuras. ¿Estás listo para más? Max Prime, adrenalina más allá del género.
Stop right there. I'm in.
Ella es una mujer tan sensual.
Yeah. I just fucked her.
Como letal. Escape a la libertad. Próximo domingo.
And who the hell are you? I'm married.
En Max Prime.
Warriors have only two paths. Get killed or get better.
When I set out making the show, then I knew that the fans of Bruce Lee were going to scrutinize this. I wanted to give them a lot to sort of grab onto.
There's just so much care and love in this work. It's pretty mind-blowing, and I'm just grateful to be here.
This is not China. It's Chinatown.
There are moments where I slip in some of his famous phrases into the dialogue. There's other times where certain fight moves we steal right out of Bruce Lee movies, and it's all done really to pay respect to the master.
My life is a life of self-examination and self-peeling of myself bit by bit, day by day.
Cuando llega el sábado, el cuerpo lo sabe. Hazle caso y siéntate a ver Max Prime. Sábados en Max Prime. Los tiburones están de regreso. Más astutos.
Sharks can't do that.
Más letales.
Never seen him act this way.
Y más pequeños.
These are your typical sharks. Just teeth and muscle and killer instinct.
Alerta en lo profundo 2. Próximo viernes en Max Prime.
Suspension's lifted. Looking for a stolen nuclear missile. Programación no recomendada para niños menores de 12 años. Tensions lifted. Looking for a stolen nuclear missile.
En Max Prime estamos listos para nuevas experiencias, más emociones y grandes aventuras. ¿Estás listo para más? Max Prime, adrenalina más allá del género.
Stop right there. I'm in.
Los tiburones están de regreso. Más astutos.
Sharks can't do that.
Más letales.
I've never seen him act this way.
Y más pequeños.
These are your typical sharks. Just teeth and muscle and killer instinct.
Alerta en lo profundo 2. Próximo viernes en Max Prime.
This is a country of foreigners. No one belongs here. This is not China. It's Chinatown. And our blood is cheap here. You'd better learn to adapt.
He's very well trained. I thought I'd bring him here first.
Things are changing, man. It's like the ground is shifting under our feet.
It's a sad day for our city, when our citizens cannot walk the streets without fear from a foreign criminal element.
You're halfway now. That means you can't go back. They own you.
Ella es una mujer tan sensual.
Yeah. I just fucked up.
Como letal. Escape a la libertad. Próximo domingo.
And who the hell are you? I'm Mary.
En Max Prime. Programación Programación no recomendada para niños menores de 12 años. Ella es una mujer tan sensual.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
Como letal. Escape a la libertad. Próximo domingo.
And who the hell are you? I'm Mary.
En Max Prime. Programación no recomendada para niños menores de 12 años.